sorry, hello.
Of 5.8 to 1. I'm sure you're convinced by that. From personal to Harvard Business Review to British Inquiry articles. So that's something that I truly believe in, and we weave it into all the projects that we do. And finally, the third tip is that our leaders need to champion learning. If our leaders are being seen constantly learning, embracing new things, trying new things, even if they fail, they keep on trying again, it will be very inspiring. And we believe that this is one of the key factors to organizational learning and growth, regardless of the types of culture. And sometimes when we go into trainings and we see that, you know what, there is a moment when executives are in the room and the big boss comes in and knocks and says, so-and-so, I need you for 2 minutes. Turns out to be 2 hours. What does it say to the executives? Work is more important than learning. Immediate work is more important than learning. You try to minimize that, right? And the very famous story about Gandhi eating sugar, have you heard of it? Some of you, yes? Okay, some of you know. So this goes. There was a mom with a young child, and she feels that the child is eating too much sugar stuff. And she went to Gandhi and said, hi, can you help me convince my son to eat less sugar? Easy, right? He could have said, son, sugar is bad for you, please eat less. Yeah. But Gandhi said, okay, please come back in 2 weeks and I will handle it. The mother was furious. I came all the way, stand in line, queue up to see you, and you tell me to wait 2 weeks. Regardless, she came back 2 weeks later, brought the kid in front of Gandhi, and said, son, sugar is bad for you. You should eat less. Eat more fresh vegetables. So the moon can't help but wonder, why did you have to wait 2 weeks? And Gandhi said, if it's 2 weeks ago, I wasn't doing what I was doing. I wanted to make sure that I could picture that before I tell you, or your son, that you just got this. Leaders, if you don't embrace the learning culture, your team is not going to make this, regardless of culture. So, just a quote, in this age of short and distance, shrinking planets, cross-cultural understanding is important for survival. And this is why we're here. This is our first time in the Middle East. I am embracing learning in this market as well. So if you have a minute, please do stop by our booth and say hi. Again, what we do in Lighthouse, we are crossed between these 3 areas: communication, change, and culture. And if you are interested in something else, I do have a message from Hong Kong. My buddies who are doing doctorate degree study, we have done a research 2 years ago about the impact of a leader's likability to the team's loyalty and their performance. And we've found in Greater China that the more likable the leader, the more loyal the teams are. And the better performance, presumably, the organization has. So what we're doing right now is we're going to rerun the survey, and I would love to have a sample that represents the Middle East. So we only need 30 samples from the group here. If you could help out, scan this QR code, and well, thank you. And tell us about the influence that you would have on this notion. That would be great. And I know I have slightly overrun on time, but I would like to thank you so much for being a great audience. If you would like to stay in touch, that's my LinkedIn, personal LinkedIn account. That's my YouTube account. Our booth is right outside. And once again, thank you, Informa, for inviting us. Thank you. We could definitely ask one question. Maybe one question? Okay. No. Yes.
Like how the culture is cycles, right?
Yes.
From like the Chinese culture.
I would say the Chinese culture is very much hierarchical, as the traditional ones, but there are a budding group of companies that are very westernized. So we see a big disparity in the 2 approaches. I won't say I see that yet, Melina, but in China or in Greater China, at least that's how I see it. It's very polarized. Thank you. All right, so Shahu, over back to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Laura, for a great session. If you have any questions, please visit Laura's exhibition stand. It's right over there. It's the Lighthouse Consulting Limited. We should be happy to answer any of your questions. We're going to start the next session a little bit late. We're just running over time, so if I could please ask you guys to exit the seminar area. We'll have the hostess scan you back in. And one more time, one more announcement. The Informa Connect stand is running a raffle draw, so feel free to drop in your business cards. The winners will be announced at 2 p.m. today, and you will win a chance to visit the post-event workshops, which is generational AI, performance consulting, and effective stakeholder management. Thanks so much.
If that happens, I'd be more than happy. Actually, I'm right now.
Some people also. Some total is but
All right, see ya. Let me try it.
She's presenting at the moment. Yeah, that's on our list as well. We're just trying to decide.
so you know who I am. I think the biggest thing you have to know is I'm from Southern California. So if I slip up and start using the word dude in this session, as we learned last session, it's just a cultural thing. If I say bro to address all of you, it's a cultural thing that should be appreciated. So I've been out here over the last 8 years working in a variety of different roles. So when we think about measuring performance or managing performance or even assessing performance, it's always good to start with a quote from somebody. And if the quote has somebody that's in a black and white photo, it's even better. Why? Because it's old. It's stood the test of time, right? And so is everyone familiar with Peter Drucker? He's the godfather of modern management. And in fact, he's worked in what's called management by objectives, has really set the stage for kind of modern talent management as we look at it. But he says, what gets measured gets managed. And that makes sense, right? If we pay attention to it, then we'll manage to it. But when we talk about performance management, what are we actually managing? Or what are we actually measuring? So just walk through this scenario. Who here works in HR? Raise your hand. Okay, good. I'm talking to the right crowd. If everyone's like, no, I don't know. I just saw there's free coffee. It'd be a very difficult conversation. But let's just play this out. As I'm sure most of you guys are going to experience this in the next couple of months if you guys do your performance reviews. There's an initial communication from HR, right? It gets sent out to everybody. Hey, everybody, pay attention. In 2 weeks, we're going to be launching this performance management initiative. Then what happens? It's a little bit of anxiety, right? People start to, oh wait, what did I write down in the beginning of the year? Managers are like, already? And life just goes on after that. So then we launch it, right? We launch it with a big fanfare, right? Head of HR reaches out to everybody and says, it's time, let's go. After that first initial email goes out, where are we at? We're about 25% of people, if we're lucky, 25% of the people complete the assessments, right? So we start out good, right? That first morning we're like, oh wow, we're trying to get this thing done by noontime. But after noontime, nobody else responds. So what happens? Stagnation. We get another idea. Okay, well, we just need to remind people. So we go out to the organization. We say, hey, just a reminder, it's going to be closing in 2 weeks. Make sure if you haven't had the opportunity to meet with your direct reports and go over your performance. We give it about another 25% bump. We're sitting at 50%. Everybody, it's ending tomorrow. If you haven't done it, please do it. And in fact, to show you how serious we are, we've CC'd who? Yes. So we get another little bump. And at the end, what are we doing? We're going back to management and saying, hey, we're at about 90%. The 10% not going to do it, right? Where we're just going to write this off. What are we measuring in this scenario? Compliance. Did people do it? But we're not measuring how good they did it. All the processes set up to do is what? For HR to go back to management and say, we did it this year, we're at 90%, 10% got written off. But if you think about all the important steps that go into, or that the performance assessment plays into, it's actually quite an important process. But for the most part, what do? We focus on completion rates, not necessarily quality. And that's reflected in the research. No one wants to sit there and just click buttons for the sake of clicking buttons so that HR can kind of write off the year-end objectives. 81% of HR feels that performance management is not effective. 9% of managers feel the same way. So if no one likes this process, why are we doing it? Right? And so a lot of times we worry about the process. Okay, we're going to move from semi-annual to quarterly. Okay, instead of annually, we're going to have every 2 months have an informal conversation. Again, it's not the process that we're worried about. It should be the quality of the conversations. So let's get to that. We're going to talk about the challenges of managers and introduce ways that we can help them. Who here likes to drink wine? Don't raise your hand, goodness. Have some cultural sensitivity here. Sommeliers, they are expert wine tasters. They spend 3 years of their life studying the performance of a grape. They can assess where this grape came from, the region, the cloud structure, the year. So you think that they're pretty good at assessing performance of the wine. Research shows that only 18% of the time they are consistent with their evaluations. In wine taste tests, that means 1 year, this wine is the best. Next year, this wine is in the middle of the pack. Why? Because assessing performance is hard, right? We come into it with a lot of influences, biases, and conditions and variabilities of how I'm showing up to the assessment. And if people that are trained to assess performance of a single grade get it wrong, what chances do managers have? Right? We're more complicated than a grade. And managers have a lot going on. They're not there. They didn't spend 3 years studying how to evaluate the performance of their individuals, right? They're just managers. They're doing their job. And then all of a sudden, they have this task that they have to do. Another example, the Queen Elizabeth International Music Competition. One of the most prestigious competitions for classical music. The people that are judging the performance are experts, they're conductors, they're famous musicians. They live and breathe this music. And they found out that the biggest determinant factor of people's success in evaluating or in doing well in this competition is not their performance. It's where they go in terms of the lineup of their audition. Meaning, if you are scheduled to go later in the, 1 through 10, and you're a person that's doing 9, you have a better chance of succeeding than the person that's going 2. And you think about, what's the difference between a great musician and another great musician? It's very subjective. There's not a scoreboard. And a lot of times in business, there's not a scoreboard. So even with people that are doing it themselves and understand the importance of this competition, it's hard for them to judge and assess the performance of the candidates. Last one, right? Now let's move away from subjectivity. Let's look at pure meritocracy.